It's been a while since I've done a video here in the home office. Also, new mic, the Deity that has this RGB here at the end of it. Let me know if you want to learn more about this mic. Realme is starting the year strong, coming out the gate at MWC 2022 with what they call their most premium device ever. It's also one that has some nice and unique features to boast. But what might be the best part about this package here is that it still keeps the brand's generally lower asking price. So let's rewind the clock, get this thing unboxed, and then let's talk about it. It's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? This is the Realme GT2 Pro. The latest smartphone by Realme shows a commitment by the brand to be unique in the market, and it seems to be a trend of theirs. After all, I recently got hands on the Dragon Ball Z edition of the Realme GT Neo 2, which you can check out after watching this video by hitting the links that are appearing above and are found below. And for more on smartphones and more across the world of tech, make sure to subscribe to my channel. With that, let's get into the unboxing. You can see in this sort of sporty look GT2 Pro. But there's this signature on the side here from Japanese designer Naoto Fukusawa. He designs a lot of minimalist and very attractive stuff, furniture, all of that. And I believe that Isa told me one time that he designed for IKEA. In any case, his stamp is clearly on the box here, right on the front, and from what I gather, you're going to see some more of that on the phone itself. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Oh, one thing I should mention real quick, 5G capable. Coming around here, more confirmation of the naming, Realme GT2 Pro, and then some of the marquee features here. 2K Super Reality display, Paper Tech master design. That sounds interesting. Of course, now we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on here, another phone that sports Qualcomm's latest chipset with the new naming convention, and dual 50 megapixel cameras, primary cameras, so the rear cameras. We have our flap in the middle first, of course, and let's take a look at what's in here. Not sure if you can really see that on camera, the future in paper. Now to the phone itself, already feels quite nice. I can already feel that there's a curve on the back, but in the plastic, what we're seeing here is that paper white backing. This looks pretty cool. Let's see how it feels after I get the plastic off. What we have here is basically a textured backing with a good amount of pattern, which will probably help with the grip. But if anything, this phone is a little bit more narrow than some other phones out there, so I do find that its handling is already pretty good, especially with this curve on the back and a flat screen. I will tell you though, if it's paper white, I mean, that's definitely what you have here. And like I was saying before, definitely have more of that stamp from the designer, Naoto Fukusawa. And finally, of course, we have dual 50 megapixel cameras. You have the two sensors here. Ooh, there's a case. I was wondering where the case was. It's right underneath. And it's a very soft plastic case. Feels pretty nice. It's going to add a little bit of grip to there. And what I love also is that the designer's signature has to be on it as well. Let's go ahead and get a close-up of that. And finally, charging accessories, the USB cable, and a Super Dart fast charger. As much as I appreciate the case, when it comes to a phone like this made specifically with certain design elements in mind, we really have to get that case off and just enjoy it for what it is. Honestly, right off the bat, I'm enjoying the design of this phone. The GT2 Pro does sport this paper white or white paper backing that was made in collaboration with designer Naoto Fukusawa. And honestly, it makes me want to find other items that were made by him. Maybe something for the office or the home office. Also, this backing is comprised of a biopolymer, resulting in a manufacturing process for this smartphone that reduces carbon emissions by something like 35%. That's pretty cool, especially since these days we go through tech in general so quickly. It's good to improve both sides of the e-waste equation. Of course, you want to have proper disposal of various items, but you can also optimize their creation. But this bio-friendly backing also lends the phone a good amount of texture when handled, as you can see via the pattern throughout the area underneath the camera bump and under Naoto Fukusawa's signature. A little bit more grip can be added with the simple gray case that came in the box. It really form-fits around the device, and it still comes with that signature by the designer himself. More practically speaking, I just enjoy how the phone's curve on the backing is met with a flat screen, and how the GT2 Pro is actually not very wide, which is refreshing to use on the daily compared to many of the larger, wider devices. All in all, the design of the GT2 Pro is well thought out, but not overdone. It's a perfect mix. It is also worth noting that this bio-based polymer backing is also available in a paper green color and material, but there are also black and blue editions. They are available in more conventional metallic finishes. The current cycle of Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 powered devices is in full swing, and the Realme GT 2 Pro has got it. Further props to Realme are in order here, as the phone is definitely in the high-end echelon while keeping everything from the design all the way to the price pretty fairly considered. The processor is also supported by a stainless steel vapor cooling system to help keep the temperatures down, and while I haven't played anything particularly taxing on this phone yet, I will say that hours of the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster haven't been met with hot hands at all. This Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 is backed up by up to 12GB of RAM and 256GB of onboard storage, all powered by a 5000 mAh battery, which is charged up to 65 watts via the Super Dart charger that I showed you in the unboxing. And then Realme continues to put the right stuff in this phone with this AMOLED screen, which I would normally expect to be like full HD coming from this brand, but it's actually a Quad HD display that can pump out 120Hz in the refresh rate. Again, since I've been on the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster the most lately, I haven't really put all of this to use in games like Wild Rift, but I'm certainly impressed that it's all here at all. Again, Realme is showing that they can put the high-powered specs in phones that are a good balance of eye-catching and overall practical. Which leads us to the cameras, via hardware that seems rather familiar. The camera package clearly prioritizes two main sensors, both 50 megapixels, put into the main and the ultra-wide. There will be no proper zooming in this phone because that third lens is not a telephoto, but it marks the return of the microlens. Yes, the microlens that we last saw in this phone's, let's say, spiritual relative, the Oppo Find X3 Pro from last year. I have been using this phone for some days now, and I do have a number of camera samples, but I did not do a real-world camera test just yet. Let me know in the comments if you want that more vlog-like content on this phone in particular, and of course subscribe to the channel to look forward to when content like that does come out. What's interesting here is that while you get the Sony IMX766 sensor in the main camera, Realme went with a slightly more recent release in the Samsung JN1 for the ultra-wide. Now that sensor is put behind a lens that is really wide at 150 degrees. That near fisheye focal length even gets its own mode, where the whole width of the sensor is used for like 4x3 pictures, or you can get full-on fisheye photos put in a circle frame. Another interesting addition is the street mode, which gives you a quick shortcut to change from JPEG to RAW capture, but then also gives you specific focal length measurements for the different lenses. Alright, might as well get started right at the desk where I unboxed this phone. Okay. You guys are used to me saying this, but I'm not surprised that the Realme phone, which is kind of a sub-brand, it's affiliated with Oppo, it's part of that whole umbrella. Yeah, this phone does not do 4K on the front either. There are some interesting developments on the main cameras though, the rear cameras. Apparently this one has an ultra-wide of up to 150 degrees, and that is its own mode here on the camera app. So yeah, I'm using the ultra-wide right now. Let me double check that it is indeed in 4K. Okay, it is. You are also able to get 8K video recording done. I believe that's only on the main sensor though, not on this ultra-wide. Yeah, I went over to the 8K video recording, so this is an 8K image right now, and it did switch over from the ultra-wide to the main sensor. No surprise there, but that is just what you're getting here. Hello. One sec. This the 2X. There's a third lens on here, but it's definitely not a telephoto lens because I'm not seeing it change. I think that extra lens is something different, maybe something a little special. And then of course there is the microlens. Literally called the microscope in the mode selector, it's very much like last year's offering in the Oppo Find X3 Pro. Right down to there being lights that are around that lens that support its ability to capture photos and videos of things that are so close to the lens that you're practically smashing it with the glass. Look at that, that is the right button on my keyboard right here. We have the micro lens back. It's just now on a Realme phone. Obviously you can't see it right now. I mean, it's cool that I can film a video and then get all close up onto whatever, but just like with the Oppo Find X3 Pro from last year, you're supposed to get like hella close up to an object here, put it down on the actual object, and then slowly lift up the top portion until you get yourself a nice close-up shot. The thing is, this is the 20 times. In the micro lens, you can actually go all the way up to 40 times and get real close. This is the eye of the Dragon Ball Z Dragon, by the way, in the card that I received in the Realme GT Neo 2 Dragon Ball Z Edition box. So right off the bat, I'm already starting to see certain features and certain modes in the Realme GT2 Pro that I kind of wished were on the Oppo Find X5 Pro. Which leads me to say that Realme seems to be having a lot of fun with their phones. I mean, this is supposed to be their biggest flagship release ever, and this one has the features that the Oppo flagship didn't have. I still wish that the front-facing camera had more resolution, not just that, but better stabilization. I'm trying pretty hard right now to keep it as steady as possible, but it just seems like the front-facing cameras from the Oppo slash BBK group, front-facing cameras just aren't necessarily their main focus or their priority when it comes to like video content creation and whatnot. It has some of the features, but it's just not getting all of the quality. So far, Realme is just showing that they have a lot of fun with their phones, but they don't forget to bolster the spec sheet. All that this phone is capable of comes in a nice looking and well thought out design that doesn't ask for Naoto Fukusawa levels of, let's say, boutique pricing. As announced at MWC 2022, this Realme GT 2 Pro will actually start at 649 euros, which is a pretty great price for a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 powered smartphone that sports some unique design and powerful cameras. How do you feel about Realme's most premium device yet? Sound off by hitting the like button and by getting into the comments. For more on phones like this, the Realme GT 2 Pro, and more in the world of tech, make sure you subscribe to my channel. With all of that said though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.